Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Assault Talk with Jermine Alberty, where we have real conversations about healing, purpose, and transformation. I'm your host, Jermine Alberty, and today we're diving into a powerful topic: let that stuff go. STUFF stands for stress, trauma, unrest, fear, and frustration. Things we all carry, but we're never meant to hold on to forever. So if you ever felt weighed down by life, unable to move forward, or just plain exhausted, then this is the episode for you. And what better time to have this conversation than right now? April is National Stress Awareness Month, a time dedicated to increasing public awareness about both the causes and cures for our modern stress epidemic. So in honor of this month, let's be intentional about noticing what we're carrying and choosing to release what no longer serves us. Before we get into this, let's take a deep breath. Come on, take it with me. Breathe in peace and let go of anything heavy. Now let's unpack that stuff and talk about how to release it once and for all. This is Assault Talk, and this is Jermine Alberty. Let's talk about stress. Some stress is good. Keeps us alert, motivated, and ready for action. When stress becomes chronic and it wears us down, that's the challenge. Think about it. How often do you feel like you're running on empty? Been there. How often does your mind race, your shoulder tense, and your patience runs thin? See, stress isn't just an emotion, but it also involves a physical response. High blood pressure, headaches, anxiety. It all comes from carrying too much. I want to encourage you to really learn how to let it go. So here are a few strategies. Number one, mindfulness breathing. Just take a deep breath and hold it for 4 seconds. Then exhale slowly. Let's try that right now. Wow. Sometimes we forget to breathe. We get to just take the time, take in deep breaths, and just enjoy the nature around us. Stop and breathe. It'll do wonders for you. The second strategy is setting boundaries. And that is being able to say no without guilt. Being able to say, I'm not able to do that without an explanation. Because you don't have to be everything to everyone. And the third thing is learning how to just get up and move around. Shakes off the stress with a walk, with a stretch, and even a dance session. So here we go. 3 strategies to take care of that stress. I know this seems really simple, and it really is. Learn to breathe, set those boundaries, and get to moving. When you do not take care of your stress levels, you invite physical health challenges. My friends, it's important we are preventative and avoid things from becoming worse. That when we feel as if they are becoming worse, that we then intervene early. But even if it has become worse, and even if you now find yourself sick, seek treatment. Let me tell you, recovery is possible, recovery is probable, and recovery can happen. My friends, some reasons why we cannot let go of stress is because we haven't let that stuff go. What are you talking about? I'm talking about trauma, because trauma is more than a memory. It's a wound. Some wounds heal quickly, and others take time. And there are some wounds that are so deep, buried so deep, that we don't even realize that they exist. There are some wounds from our childhood, what we call ACEs. There are some adverse childhood experiences that we experience that we sometimes never dealt with. Adverse childhood experiences where they literally were things that were traumatizing that we were told in some cultures, what goes on in this house stays in this house. We're told in some cultures that we don't talk about that here. And in not talking about those things became a deep wound. And sometimes we don't even realize that we have those wounds. There are questions that are asked in the ACEs study, and those questions that were asked are around physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical neglect, emotional neglect, household substance abuse, household mental illness, parental separation, divorce, incarcerated household members, and even witnessing violence. I believe many of us can test that we have experienced many of those things. And when I took my ACEs score and my ACEs quiz, if you would, my score ranged in a very high area of 8 out of 10. Question one was, did a parent or other adult in the household often or very often swear at you, insult you, put you down, or humiliate you, or act in a way that made you afraid that you might be physically hurt? Question number two, did a parent or adult in the household often or very often push, grab, slap, or throw something at you? Ever hit you so hard that you had marks or were injured? Question number three, did adult or person at least 5 years older than you ever touch or fondle you or have you touch their body in any sexual way? Did someone attempt or actually have oral, anal, or vaginal intercourse with you? Question number four, did you often or very often feel that no one in your family loved you or thought you were important or special? Or B, your family didn't look out for each other, feel close to each other, or support each other? Number five, did you often or very often feel that you don't have enough to eat, had to wear dirty clothes, or had no one to protect you? Or your parents were too drunk or high to take care of you or take you to the doctor if you needed it? Number six, was your parents ever separated or divorced? Number seven, was your parent or caregiver often or very often pushed, grabbed, slapped, or had something thrown at him? Sometimes often or very often kicked, bitten, hit with a fist, or hit with something hard? Or ever repeatedly hit over at least a few minutes or threatened with a gun or knife? Number eight, did you live with anyone who was a problem drinker or alcoholic? Someone who used alcohol or used street drugs? Number nine, was there a member in your household that were depressed or mentally ill, or did a household member attempt suicide? And lastly, did a household member go to prison? Now, I know that those questions could have evoked some distress for many of you. And if they did, I want you to take a moment to breathe. I want you to take a moment to get up and stretch. And I want you to take a moment to think about if you need to talk to somebody about those things. My friends, therapy is an important element of being able to release things on the inside of us that sometimes we have told nobody. And hearing those 10 questions, if you answer yes to any of those questions, you experience trauma. Once again, trauma is more than a memory, it's a wound. And maybe, just maybe, you experienced some of that personal trauma, that loss, that abuse, that betrayal. And maybe you carry generational trauma, generational shame, because oftentimes pain is passed down through history. Either way, trauma changes the way we see the world. And this is why it's important that if you experience any of this trauma could be the very thing that is driving your stressors in your life. That's why I want to encourage you to let it go. And it begins by acknowledging it. You can heal what you don't name. Seek that support. Therapy, it could be faith-based counseling or trusted community help. But number 3, I want you to tell your story. Share with those you trust, because sharing releases the burden. 3 things: acknowledge it, seek support, and tell your story. If you're holding on to that trauma today, I want you to know this, that you are not alone. And healing is possible. And that you are not your pain. So many times when we do not let go of our trauma or deal with our trauma, it creates within us unrest. And unrest isn't just physical exhaustion, it's emotional and spiritual turmoil. So, not is it just physical unrest, not is it just emotional unrest. Not only can it be spiritual unrest, we have to be able to holistically care for ourselves. The world is chaotic. Wars, injustice, personal conflict. Listen, we take in so much noise that we forget how to just be still. Now I'm working on a practice of trying to just take moments of silence for myself. And it's hard. It's hard to disengage from everything around me that I feel like needs my attention. It's hard to just stop sometimes and be still and just be able to take in maybe just nature, just taking a moment of just being silent. So, how do we reclaim our peace? 3 suggestions. Number 1, limit consumption. So, turn off the news, reduce social media. Number 2, I mentioned it earlier, practice stillness. Spend 5 minutes in silence daily. I'm not talking about praying. Praying is not silence. Why? Because when you pray, you are talking to the divine. You are talking to the divine. You are awaiting a response from the divine. And so you're not silent because either you're talking out loud or you're talking in your mind. What I'm talking about is just trying to still your mind and just take in peace. Yes, just take in peace. And embrace the powerful serenity prayer by releasing control. Being able to accept the things that you cannot change. And also being able to have the courage to change what you can change. And then having the wisdom to know the difference between what you can change and what you cannot change. You know, this is hard. You know, and I know this can be hard. Let's pause for a moment. Let's close our eyes. Let's just take one deep breath and remind yourself this. I don't have to carry everything. I don't have to carry everything. Oftentimes, we don't deal with our unrests because we're fearful. We're fearful. Fear is that invisible chain that keeps us bound, that keeps us from stepping into our purpose. That fear whisper questions to us like, what if I fail? Or what if I'm not enough? Or, what if they won't accept me? But here's the truth: fear sometimes is rooted in truth, but fear oftentimes is rooted in lies. It's true, people may not accept you. It's true that you may not be enough for that thing. It's true that you might fail. But although it's true, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to get stuck there. And sometimes those things are not true. Those things are lies, because the reality is that you don't know whether those things are true because you never did it. And so fear has you stuck. So how do we overcome fear? One, we have to name it. Name, what exactly are you afraid of? And two, challenge it. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And three, walk through it. Take one small step forward and walk through it. My friend, today, let's choose courage over fear. I know you've tried. I know you really have. I know you're trying to let that stuff go. I know in this month of April, this National Stress Awareness Month, I know you have. And I know you feel very frustrated. I know. But frustration happens when expectations don't meet reality. Mm-hmm. That frustration is when you feel stuck, you feel angry, you feel hopeless, and maybe you're frustrated with a job or lack thereof. Maybe you're frustrated with relationships. My friends, you may be even frustrated with yourself. But I want you to transform that frustration. And here's how you do it. Number one, you shift perspective. Ask yourself, what is this moment teaching me? And then, my friends, number two, you practice gratitude. Think about three things that you're grateful for. And then what you do is number three, create an action plan. Take that frustration and turn it into fuel. Because I want you to know that small steps matter. Take the first step and the second step and the third step. Before you know it, you might find yourself walking at a swift pace. Before you know it, you may find yourself running. Run with it. Shift perspective, practice gratitude, and create an action plan. My friend, there's power in letting go. So in segment two, we're going to talk about the power of letting go. This is a Soft Talk, and this is Jermine Alberty. Well, my friends, welcome to segment two, the power of letting go. What happens when we let go of stuff? Three things: freedom, clarity, and peace. You see, letting go doesn't mean that you forget what happened, but what it means is you choose not to let the past control your present moment. What does letting go look like? I tell you three things. One, forgiveness. Forgiving them is not about that person. You've heard it before. It's about you. And why is it about you? It's because you are forgiving that person, not what they did to you. That's not why you're forgiving them. You're not forgiving them what they did to you. You're forgiving them because what you do not have to do is carry the burden of that pain that they caused you. It's not about them. It's about you. It's about you declaring, I am not going to carry this weight around with me my whole life. I'm going to let it go. When I let it go, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. Number one, forgiveness. Number two, physical release. Write a letter to your past self and let it go. Burn it. Tear it up. Whatever it takes, but let it go. And then thirdly, sometimes trauma, stress, fear, frustration, unrest has a way of just clinging to our souls. And number three, we require a spiritual surrender. Just letting go and trusting the divine, trusting God to make a way. You know, it's so important that we learn how to let stuff go. And let's talk about some practical steps to do just that. The first step is the drop it technique. When stress arises, ask yourself one question. Is this worth carrying? Number two, 3 deep breaths. I want you to try this in real time. Just take 3 deep breaths. Hold them for as long as you can, but take them. Get you a journal and put on that front page, letting go journal. And on those pages, begin to write down, hey, what is weighing me down today? And how can I release it? Number 4, releasing through action. Transform your pain into purpose. You volunteer somewhere, you can mentor someone, but just move through that pain. Well, listen, my friends, you have been listening to the Salt Talk with Jermine Alberty, and I want to give you a call to action as I begin to wrap up this podcast. 1, I want you to reflect on this. If you could drop one piece of stuff today, what would it be? Stress, that trauma, that unrest, that fear, that frustration. If you could just drop one of those things today, what would it be? I want you to share your own reflection on letting go. My call to action is I want to once again encourage you to journal. Write down one thing you're ready to let go, that you're ready to release, and why. And I want you to be able to know that you are not alone. Well, my friends, thank you so much for joining us for the Salt Talk with Jermine Alberty. And remember, you were never meant to carry it all. Let that stuff go and step into your freedom. It's April, this National Stress Awareness Month. Until next time, stay encouraged.